Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special live edition of The Wrap right here on the Viking Media Network YouTube channel. Happy Tuesday night to you all as we're live to talk all things WWE post Crown Jewel as the road to two or maybe three major shows begin. Halloween Havoc, Saturday night's main event in Salt Lake City, Utah, and of course, Survivor Series War Games in San Diego next month. I'm Keila Cash, and by my side, as always, is my co-captain, my right hand, the sometimes advocate for now, for the rapidly improving Miss Jada Parker from NXT. I bring to you back on the Wrap Live, as always, the one, the only, fresh-faced, baby-face, Salty Scott Young. Welcome back, Salty.
Thank you for having me, Keila. As always, it's a pleasure to chop it up and talk all things WWE. I'm excited about the conversation we're going to have. And regardless of what happens on this show, it will be better than what happened at the end of NXT. I can tell you that.
Wow. You were not a fan of the end of NXT.
I wasn't a fan of the minute that Battle Royal started. So from the minute it started to the minute it ended, I wasn't a fan.
Wow. So we have some hot takes coming from Scott regarding NXT. I happen to be very happy with the winner of the match. Scott is not. He has his issues, and he's going to air his grievances right here on this very show, which I'm looking forward to in just a bit. But shout out to Fernando in the live chat, as always, hanging out. Can't wait to hear his thoughts on all things WWE from this past weekend. And of course, what happened last night on Monday Night Raw. Feel free to join in the conversation, in the chat. Anytime during the episode, we accept super chats as well. Little donations to us as we try to make a little change off this live stream. We appreciate y'all. Going to shake the cup, shake the jar, put a little tip in there. Appreciate it as always. But before we get into Scott's thoughts about Crown Jewel this past Saturday, you know what we have to do, which is now one of our early traditions to kick off our show. He fires up Netflix at least once a week to do his weekly homework assignment, taking us down to that beautiful crossing known as Sullivan's Crossing. So, Scott, what you been watching lately? What's been going on Sullivan's Crossing?
Well, thankfully, not a whole lot because Lorelei's ex is still in bed. He's still laid out. He don't know what's going on. A lot of flashbacks. Main chick, she's still trying to act like she don't want Chad to be Michael Murray all over her. That's a lie. You know, the tension is there. You know, I'm hooked. I'm in it. I'm looking forward to them finally giving in, doing what they need to do. Pulling a Naomi and Jimmy, as we like to call it. But you know, it's time for Chad to become Big Jim. And yeah, that's where we're at right now with Sullivan's.
I never would have thought that comparison would take place, that they would pull a Naomi and Big Jim, that they would not proceed with caution. Exactly. That is where we are right now. So you're saying that type of seasoning is on Sullivan's Crossing. That is what you are alleging.
I think seasoning is a strong word. I think maybe some salt. You know, maybe adding a little salt. Maybe, you know, that seasoning's a strong word.
Agreed. So you would say at the minimum salt, black pepper, maybe a little bit of Mrs. Dash potentially.
Again, black pepper. Take it easy. Take it easy. Okay, take it easy. Salt. Maybe a little bit of brown sugar.
Brown sugar. Okay. Is it sea salt? Is my question. Sea salt.
You know what? It's not by choice, just because they're right by the ocean. So yeah.
Okay. See how timely that is. There we go. And we have someone already in the chat defending Seth Rollins, which I greatly appreciate. Came in hot. I just want to put it up here right now saying Rollins didn't deserve that. he won all by himself. Well, WWE movie maker, that is the problem because he said he won all by himself. And we'll get to that momentarily. And then, Fernando, in our seasoning discussion, all that I put on my chicken for Thanksgiving. See?
Turkey.
There we go.
Oh, here we go.
He's coming in hot. He's a Paul Heyman hater. I love the fire. We have a strong Seth Rollins supporter. We're going to talk about it on this very show. Don't you worry about it. But before we dive into Scott's thoughts into Crown Jewel, by popular request, our boss guy, our boss man, GG, has taxed us to educate the audience on some of our lingo here on the Wrap. And we have a lot of phrases we use. But the one I want to key in on this week is cheddar biscuits. It was a phrase I started about 4 years ago. And it's all about paying homage to people that we like, who are talented and, let's be shallow, easy on the eyes. And the main recipient, the first recipient of the cheddar biscuits on this show, by way of Red Lobster, the finest appetizer you would ever eat in life, the first recipient was my dude, Ludwig Kaiser. Scott knows this to be true. The OG recipient of those biscuits.
Yeah. You know, I think it's very important to remember what this is. That was a very politically correct answer. At the end of the day, cheddar biscuits is all about being a baddie.
Yes.
Okay. If you're a baddie, you get in the biscuits. Simple as that. And there's levels to this. You know, some people can have some biscuits and they can be at the table. Some people have their own booth. Some people shut down the restaurant. Some people get a restaurant. Some people get a franchise lease. Very few get the recipe. Okay. Very few getting that recipe. But let me tell you something. You get in the building, you got cheddar biscuits for life.
Absolutely. You get the house salad, you get biscuits, you get a booth, a table, and as Scott said, franchises potentially. Now, I do want to put him on the spot because I did not say recipe. So that is an elite level of cheddar biscuit winning. So, Scott, putting you on the spot, who has earned the recipe, the formula for a cheddar biscuit?
Oh, Bailey has for sure earned the recipe. She got that in all spades.
Yes, I must agree as well. Julius Creed also has the full recipe as well.
Yeah, you've been a fan of him since 2.0 from the beginning too.
Yeah. Listen, from the sadness, the greatness, the revival, and the end of 2.0, I've been a Julius Creed supporter of that cheddar biscuits. Lyra is also a part of the franchise as well. So we're just adding people to our roster, which is very important to us. So that's the first thing. The cookout is you must be cultured and seasoned, the word of the day, seasoned, to get a plate, a lifetime invitation to the cookout. And the main person who has a plate right now at the cookout in the land of Rose Conda, another phrase on the show would be one brother, Cody Rhodes. Yes.
Essentially, you got to be down for the cause. You know, you gotta know what's going on. You have to understand the word melanated, okay? And yeah, that's it. You just gotta be down with the cause and understand what's going on. Some other people who have cookout invitations. I think Sami Zayn's definitely a guy who could definitely get to a cookout. You know, and as for me, I probably got to show some people my Facebook page. Let them know I'm legit. That's okay. Is that, you know, that's all right. I'm going to get in there eventually. It just might take me a little while. But listen, you get in the cookout, you get a plate, you eat good.
Yes. Recipients include, as Scott noted, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn gets a plate. Walker HBK, another nickname, Shawn Michaels, he gets a plate for booking NXT. I mean, listen, every champion on the male side for the last year has been a brother. So shout out to him on that. And also, William Regal gets a plate. Saw his tweet on Sunday. You bumping Sylvester, automatic plate to the cookout. You're cultured, seasoned, and I appreciate that. Great taste.
I ain't mad at that. He could. I would be interested to see him at a cookout though, like a legit cookout. I would be.
He might blend in. He's from Buckhead, and on my side of town, he knows culture. He knows soul. He knows seasoning. So I appreciate that. And also, OG cheddar biscuits, because man, listen, funny, talented, knows talent, knows ball, saw talent within one Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Moné, saw the talent in Bailey. So he's a great scout, great eye for talent in this business, which I appreciate. So shout out to his lordship, William Regal, and Fernando also on that Julius Creed train. He could be a world champion. He could be a great single star. I agree. Where is my boy Julius? I know that Chad Gable's out injured, but let's not forget the Creed brothers, who could be a very viable tag team on Monday Night Raw, a division that is incredibly soft and quiet and just not what it needs to be on a regular basis.
Yeah, that guy's probably out training for UFC or something. You know, he under the TKO man. They said, "Listen, dude, that guy over there don't want you. We want you. Come over here, fight for us." So, who knows what's going on? Because clearly Triple H does it.
Yeah, sometimes he lets good guys fall through the cracks, and he might be on a two-way contract unknowingly to us. Hey, you want to train at the Apex? Want to get some reps in with Daniel Cormier? Come on, let's do this thing. So we shall see where it goes. And I think he's filming The Ultimate Fighter as well. So that might be where Julius is. But hopefully he's back on WWE television very soon, because he is a very talented guy that could actually be a part of, well, we can't call it the Vision anymore. We'll get to that later. But now, enough talk about our lingo, our terminology, more to come later. But let's now dive into the fallout from Crown Jewel. Now, I did a show with Gigi on Saturday night, recapping our thoughts on the show, but Scott has not said one singular word publicly about Crown Jewel. So I'm going to give him the floor to talk about the show, the atmosphere, the ambiance, the matches themselves, before we dive into the fallout via Monday Night Raw. So Scott, let's start with the first match of the night, which was the Australian street fight between Big Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns, the OTC.
Nobody does a walking brawl like Roman Reigns, I can tell you that. This was very enjoyable. Good way to open the show. A lot of energy throughout the crowd. Bronson Reed gets a huge win. One of the few people to pin Roman Reigns in a singles match. I not a lot more to say. Just a really strong opener, and because of what happened in the main event and what happened on Monday Night Raw, it kind of ended up working out that he got that big win, because it looks like big things are on the way for Bronson.
He's getting a big time push.
And let me also say, the Bronze beat the Bloodline, by the way. Outnumbered. Yes. Like, they beat the Bloodline outnumbered. So shout out to the Bronze.
Let's discuss that math, shall we? So the Bloodline had a 3-on-2 advantage. We had two fresh-bodied Usos in the match fighting for their cousin, and they got outnumbered by size, not numbers, by people, by size, by stratagem. That Jay was so overzealous that he spared his own cousin through the table, and that gave Braun the dub. And Roman, in a great moment of masterpiece Bloodline theater, is going to tell his cousins, hey guys, people believe I can't do this on my own. Well, sir, it's been a long time since you've done anything on your own. Can't beat those allegations. And he told them, I told y'all, I got this. I didn't need your help. I love you. I love you too. I don't want to see y'all until Christmas. I'm like, wow, not even Thanksgiving. But considering how Jay can't cook turkey by way of Total Divas, I understand it. I understand, Roman, why you don't want to have that man cooking anything for Thanksgiving, because that turkey, that bird won't be seasoned, which is the word of the day. Seasoning.
First of all, the random shots at my man and his cooking, like, come on. Secondly, you're not wrong. You only get one chance to cook on Thanksgiving. You only get one opportunity to bring a plate. It don't matter what it is. It better be good. And if it's good, then you can start bringing other things, and maybe they'll let you do the turkey. So the fact you got to do the turkey and you messed it up, you should never be in the kitchen again. You shouldn't even be allowed to eat in the kitchen. You like the dining room, wherever it is, some people got in the kitchen. You got to eat somewhere else. So that's that. Yeah, this is I'm curious to see where this goes, because do they need to call Sammy? I mean, he clearly was the glue to all this. Do they need to call Sammy? Where's the MFTs? Do they need to call in the MFTs to go handle the Bronze? I don't know. Roman's gonna be gone. Does Roman and Seth is the Shield getting back together? The mini Shield? We'll see.
Lord have mercy. Mini Shield reunion. The MFTs being used as a ancillary assistant to what's going on. If the Usos have to call baby bro and say, hey, Solo, can we borrow some of your talent? Can I get me a Tamatanga? I would love that, Cheddar Biscuits. You can keep the other one, because I know Scott's going to cap all day for noted legend Tongaloa.
What we're not going to do is patronize. Okay. Listen, there is no MFT without the legendary Tongaloa. There's no such thing as the MFT without the legendary Tongaloa. So, shout out to Tama. Looks great.
Mm-hmm.
But the legendary Tongaloa is really what's holding that entire group down right now.
You are a legendary liar, obviously, to be here on this air to talk up that man to this degree. And Fernando has made his point very clear. Please stay away, Rock. Well, Fernando, I hate to break it to you. The Rock is a very busy man, but he also has a box office flop on his hands at this time. So you know what that means. He's going to come in for a little PR rehab and get a little shine heading to the end of the year. And not only that, he also told us this past week he has a little hand, a little touch into John Cena's retirement tour. No, stay away. I tell you to stay away too, Dwayne. Stay away. Stay home. Make Moana 4. Do focus on that.
Yeah, I think all this box office bomb is going to go right away once Oscar season comes and he starts getting nominated for all these awards. And also, I personally wouldn't be that mad if he came out and was like, yo, nah, you got one more, me, you, WrestleMania, kind of going back to when they had their first WrestleMania. We won't have to wait a year for it. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. John deserves better than going out on a Saturday night's main event on the cock pause anyway. So
well, Scott, all good things must come to an end. And we have our set end date. You can't renege on a retirement tour. Can't do it.
It's wrestling.
I know, we know, like, retirement in wrestling is a fallacy. We know it doesn't stick, but I think John Cena's pretty adamant. Like, this is it. Now, of course, the question becomes Saudi Mania in a couple of years. How much money they're going to throw at so many people to come out of retirement to wrestle on this show. So we'll see how high the price is and see if Cena says, you know what, I'm good. We shall see on that. But I think the retirement tour ends in DC in a couple of months on a random Saturday night on Peacock, and we will enjoy the moment for what it is. And Scott is right that even though the Smashing Machine did not make money at the box office, it's going to be about the critical acclaim. If people remember The Rock's performance, he will be nominated heading into award season. First sign will be the Golden Globe Awards. Those noms come out in December. If he's nominated, it kind of washes away the stench of the bomb. But as Fernando notes as well, Taylor Swift laid the smackdown on The Rock at the box office because she released 45 variants of her album and sold 4 million copies.
These are the times where I'm glad I have boys instead of girls. I don't have to hear any Taylor Swift songs.
You know what? I am a girl too. And I too don't have to listen to Taylor Swift. Not my cup of tea. She aight, but it's not for me. Not for me. The way people love Taylor Swift is the way I love Adele. And that's who I rock with. Personally, in terms of music. If I want to cry and I want to be in my feelings, I go with Adele. That's just me. Not begrudging any Swiftie, but if I want to get into my feelings, I want to cry and I want to just be emu for like a day or two and pour some wine and cry and weep. It's Adele all day.
All right. If I want to cry, I'm just going to go watch Mr. Feeney's speech before he told the kids I love you and kicked them out of his classroom.
Sorry. Now,
shout out to Boy Meets World.
Shout out to Boy Meets World. I saw like the tweet because Topanga, our girl Daniel Fischel, is out there dancing this season. Mr. Feeney was out there. William Daniels out there, 98 years old, still rocking it, which I love so much. And what's so funny about Boy Meets World, everyone is there except the boy. He ain't there for anything. He just said, I don't know these people. I don't know them. He's like Mariah Carey. I don't know her. I don't know them. They don't know me. He just keeps his distance from all reunions. Just a player hater.
Man, got him a spinoff and said, I'm good after that.
I don't want to talk about the spinoff. Sabrina Carpenter was the highlight of that show. The supreme talent that has now gone on. I endured. It was aight for what it was. You know, still wanted Angela and Sean to get together, but I digress. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm still bitter 25 years later. Yes, I am. Before I get into my feelings on that even more, Fernando also notes that he does believe at Saudi Mania in 2027, we will see most likely Stone Cold versus CM Punk. You might be right, because Stone Cold did get that operation on his hips, on the knees, and he might be ready to go if the price is right.
Yeah, anybody can be ready to go if the price is right.
Well, and they got a lot of money to spend and throw at people. So we shall definitely see. All righty. Next match on the card from Crown Jewel. Scott's thoughts on the first Crown Jewel match for the Crown Jewel Championship and ring. Stephanie Vicaire, the Women's World Champion of Monday Night Raw, and Tiffany Stratton, the Women's Champion of SmackDown.
Good match. Arguably the shortest match ever in a Triple H PLE era, but it was solid. Nothing spectacular, but a good buffer after the Roman or the Bronson Reed win and big Roman match.
Agreed. Did not have enough time and a match where we didn't have a story, unfortunately, unlike the main event where you had a story that made sense. We just had two women who happened to be champions battling for a big, beautiful belt, and Stephanie won. Good for her. Enjoyed the match for what it was, one of Tiffany's better outings in quite some time. But this is definitely Stephanie's year in WWE. She noted on Monday Night Raw, I am the only one in the calendar year to win not one, not two, not three, but 4 championships. That's a pretty big deal for a first year in WWE. Something that's never been done before.
Yeah, she might be locking up some WWE Rookie of the Year awards.
Yeah, I believe so as well. And Tiffany's first loss this year. I thought that was underplayed by the announcers who talked up the streak at the beginning of this match, but she is actually now 17-1 for the year.
Man, I think Stephanie's only losses come to JC Jane.
Yeah. Shocking.
The 1 and the 17-1.
Yeah, indeed. Hey, Jace had a good year. I can't even knock her. She's become a pretty good wrestler, and hopefully she's not too injured after being hurt on the house show last week in Ohio. Fingers crossed. It's nothing too major heading into Halloween Havoc in a couple of weeks in Arizona. As we get to our next match, legend versus legend, last time ever, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles versus John Cena. And I said this on Saturday, the most money John Cena ever made in terms of merch, because I've never seen a sea of yellow like that in my life, unless I was watching Minions or a Lakers game or somewhere in OKC for a home game. That was crazy that fans bought that much merch, wore it, and showed Cena that kind of love.
Great atmosphere, great love. Me personally, incredible match. Like, from the moment he hit the skull crushing finale, I was locked in. I'm out my seat. And he just keeps upping the ante. The Bray Wyatt, Sister Abigail, beautiful touch. The way Cena held it there, milked that crowd for a little bit, had that anticipation really build. The Goozle was great. Cena should have been added a chokeslam to his repertoire because that looks fantastic. And then let me tell you something. That man, if there's anybody who listens to the crowd, it's John Cena, because they started chanting 619. This dude knew he can't do a 619, but he dropped toe hold AJ Styles on that rope. And let me tell you something, for a split second, I was like, you know what? Maybe he can do a 6-1. Maybe he can do one. All he's got to do is one. Maybe he can. And they shut that down. But I absolutely love the match. The tombstone into the AA, like, I loved it. Finisher spam. This dude is going out on his shield. He is letting the walls, like, that wasn't actually, that wasn't even the walls. That was the Lion Tamer.
Yes,
that was the Lion Tamer.
Yes,
okay?
It was.
Full back arch. I mean, John was in his bag. There was no slippage on the hold either. I've seen Jericho slip on it. John didn't. Man, I can't say enough about this match. Like, it had everything you could ask for out of somebody going out and this being everything they have. Like, this is what he's done on his, since he's turned babyface. This dude has just been having tribute matches, literally thanking everyone. I mean, what's next? You know, what do you do next match? Are we gonna get an Eddie Frog splash? Like, we're gonna get 3. What are you gonna do? Like, obviously we got to get another angle slam, ankle lock. But what other moves are you gonna do that to give as a tribute? I can't say enough about this match. Loved it. Thought it was fantastic. The opening, talking about AJ where he slipped him the note. You can't ask for much more.
It was really the perfect match. I loved it. I got misty with the AJ introduction because Cena wrote it and surprised him, had no idea. And AJ rocking the TNA shorts from 2005, letting those thighs out and breathe. I was like, sir,
you're too old for that.
I mean, too old for that, but still, cheddar biscuits all day cheddar biscuits, the hair, still going out there at a high level working. I appreciate that. his own tributes to Sting, Samoa Joe, Kazarian, Christopher Daniels. The Deadeye had me really good. John Cena, when he hit Sister Abigail, it was so clean. Dude, it was so clean. And then the Fireflies came out and he's looking up to the heavens, just everything. I did laugh so loud when Cena hit the ropes to go for the 619, completely off the cuff, improv. Let me go and do this for the people, knowing damn well he can't hit it. But I guarantee you this, if they're going to do Dirty Dom and John Cena at Survivor Series, oh, he is going to hit a 619 in San Diego. He's going to practice his ass off and hit it. Because listen, he heard the people in Chicago that night warning an RKO. He almost gave it to them in this match. He will absolutely hit a 619 for Rey Mysterio. Bet he will. It'll be the ugliest 619 you will ever see in your life, but he will hit it.
Let me tell you something, Keila. let me explain something to you. If this man John Cena does a 619 and doesn't tear his pec, okay? let's just say he hits a 619, doesn't tear his pec, and then follows it up by dropping the dime. I'll call him the greatest wrestler of all time.
Listen, if he drops a dime off the top rope perfectly with any level of springboard, with any level of height and bounce, it's a wrap. He is the greatest wrestler of all time. I will anoint him if he hits a clean 619. If he hits a Hurricanrana in this match,
oh, that'll happen.
He's gonna hit a Canadian Destroyer. He's gonna hit that.
Yeah. Lord. The Hurricanrana will happen. The Canadian Destroyer. I think we'll get a frog splash.
Yeah. Will we get a Spanish fly?
No. Yo. Take it easy. Okay. Take it. We might get a lasso from El Paso. Shout out to Eddie.
Yeah.
But a Spanish fly? Like, first of all, like, again, you thinking that Dominic has this suitcase when in reality he's just got a drawstring bag. Like, we've also got to remember who he's wrestling. Okay. He's not going out there wrestling AJ Styles. He's wrestling Dominic Mysterio.
Now, first of all, you're going to put some respect on Dirty Dom's name, okay? Now, listen, I will say this. We'll get to him in a little bit. I don't like his choice in neck tattoos. I can't even say it. Neck tattoos. That's how he tripped me up. That ugly tattoo on his neck. Competing with Cody for worst neck ink in the WWE disgusts me. But that man has more than a drawstring bag. That man has a duffel bag, okay? Not quite Samsonite levels, but we're getting there, and we'll see. San Diego could be special for many reasons. If that is a match we're going to get a Survivor Series, but Cena and Styles had a great match. I appreciate it. Fernando's right. AJ does deserve his own farewell tour, and we need it to be low key. I don't need to know how many dates we have left. I just want to enjoy the last year of AJ Styles in a wrestling ring to commemorate his 10-year anniversary in WWE next year as well.
Yeah, I think he'll get a nice run. He'll get to wrestle some of the people he wants to on his way out, and hopefully this is a good start on that.
Me too. All right, fingers crossed on that. Now it's time for our semi-main event. It is the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Io Sky and hometown hero Rhea Ripley from Adelaide, South Australia. This match was so good, and Io Sky and Asuka are so great at what they do. I look forward to their eventual one-on-one match. I think it could be a headline match at WrestleMania at some point next year. So many options for WWE to go in for this particular feud. Everything about this match clicked. Kairi was great. Rhea's over as always. And we had a great story. That is the beginning of a story of more matches, more drama to come. Just really good stuff. Asuka, I will say right now, best heel in the business right now in terms of how she carries herself, the character work, and the in-ring. It's really, really strong stuff from her, who's just locked in right now, playing this really twisted, evil character. And you just want to hate her, but damn it, she's great at what she does. Always great.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you said. Very strong match. How often in the WWE do two hometown people get to win their PLE match on the same night? I mean that was very shocking to me, but very strong match. Right team went over. The way it happened with Kairi Sane taking the bullet and essentially still getting her head chewed off, all worked out really well.
Oh, yes. And the shot she took to her head, my goodness, had a little horn on her head by the time it was over. She took a big hit for Asuka, lost the match. And then Rhea, who is the hometown hero, sees the floor to EO to get the W. I thought it was great. And as you said, it's very rare to be in your home country and you win. And then it happens twice in the same show. The hometown hero wins their match. They stand tall, they get over in their hometown. That is a rarity because normally if you're in your hometown or country, you're getting beat.
Yeah. And the only thing more rare than that is Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes both losing singles matches on the same PLE.
Yes. And we need to fact check Michael Cole saying, oh my God, the second time Roman's been pinned. No, technically it's happened 3 times. Jey Uso was the first. Cody Rhodes was the second. Seth Rollins did it at WrestleMania this year. And now Bronson Reed has done it as well. So.
Yep. Boy, been taking Mel's.
Yeah, he's been taking them. He's been taking them. And for good reason. And makes sense in the storyline as well as we continue this never-ending Bloodline saga that has now entered another game in the World Series. We're in inning 7 of this new game, apparently. And now it is time for our main event, Crown Jewel. For the Crown Jewel Championship for the men, Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE Champion, versus Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion. Scott, your thoughts on this match?
Real strong match. Tough act to follow, following John Cena, AJ Styles, and that finisher barrage that they throw at you. But I thought they did a good job. The top rope crossroads was a really good near fall. And, you know, I thought they did about as good of a job as you could have done in that spot. I think they had a nice story to tell. And, I mean, the watch to me, it doesn't really count. Like, it's cheating. It is what it is. So he beat that man all clean by himself. Strong win for Seth Rollins. And a nice touch for what was to come on Monday.
A clean win, you say? A clean
That's what it
win.
looked like to me.
Now, see, you need to get your eyes checked, get your glasses cleaned up, because that was not a clean victory. You know it. That man,
yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was not a clean victory. It was not. That man used a Timex watch to get the W. That was not a Rolex. That was a Timex he used to knock out Cody. And then, of course, he gets the W. Now, the one thing that we remember is the fact that Seth Rollins is a madman, that he does it for the love of the game at the detriment of his own body. When this man went coast to coast, not space coast to coast. He went coast to coast with a headbutt, and then in the process, probably fucked up his shoulder.
Yeah, well, he got the win, right? So,
at what cost? A high cost he paid to be a Crown Jewel champion. A belt they flew in a private jet in 2 really secure cases, flew for the transfer from one country to another, to wear this belt around for 48 hours, to put back in set case, fly it back to Saudi Arabia so we won't see it again for another year. The sacrifice he made for that moment, how fleeting it was indeed. If we only knew what was to come. But for the love of the game, Seth Rollins did what he had to do to get the W. It was not clean. It was a little cheaty. It was a little messy, I must admit. And then Cody Rhodes, you know, dude, you hit an avalanche crossroads and you don't win. As Roman Reigns once said, that move don't beat nobody.
To be fair, his ultimate finishing move, which has not been kicked out of, is the 3. So he still has that protected. So at least I appreciate the fact that they didn't have him hit the 3.
If he hit the 3, I would have cried. And I would have cried. Really, really, really. Nice vertebreaker too on Seth. It was nice. It was nice. It was nice. Good match. But if it happened in a universe where there was not Cena versus Styles, would have been my match of the night. But Cena and Styles win that easily because they absolutely tore the house down in Perth, Australia at Crown Jewel for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Alrighty, so before we segue to Monday Night Raw, your final scorecard for Crown Jewel 2025, second show on ESPN, the enhanced app that I didn't pay extra money for because I might have to cut y'all loose for a month because we got 6 weeks between shows. Trying to save some money, for real. So y'all might not see me for a month using your app.
They might not see me for a whole year using the app. Peep game though. I thought this was a really good. I enjoyed everything about the show, so I'm gonna give it a solid B. It might be a B plus, honestly. Like I thought it was a really good show.
I thought it was way better than WrestlePalooza for sure. A bounce back from that show from last month. So I will also go, to quote Stephanie McMahon and Daniel Bryan many moons ago, a solid B plus. I'm going to give it a solid B plus. Going to go there and do that. And Fernando, I do agree. He really wanted to see Seth versus Roman one-on-one at WrestleMania finally, but doesn't look like that is happening. No, sir, because life happened, injuries happened. We'll get to it in a moment, but it might be a blessing in disguise that we kind of need Seth in a different role. And we might need our mini Shield reunion heading into 2026, which I'm not opposed to either. We'll get to all of that in just a moment as we now segue to the highs and lows, the fallout from Crown Jewel via Monday Night Raw, which went down early Monday morning here in the U.S. from Perth, Australia. If you were up early watching on Netflix, I believe Scott did intend to watch the show live with his boys. Did you, in fact, do said watch of Monday Night Raw on Monday morning?
I did. I got about an hour and a half of it before I had to take the oldest to the bus. So, yeah, solid. Let me tell you something. I'm off on Monday, so I'm cool with the 8 a.m. Monday Night Raw or Monday Morning Raw. The MMR, I'm with it.
Okay. Look at you with the acronym. Look at you with the shortening of what it is. MMR. There we go. Monday Morning Raw. There we go. Appreciate it. Not only that, I need to call out Netflix because, the last few weeks when y'all started at 7 o'clock, which I appreciated. Don't get me wrong, okay? I like earlier start time because I got through sooner. No commercials. How come I come home hours, legitimately 12 hours after Monday Night Raw is gone off the air? I have to still fast forward the commercials. I want a commercial-free experience, guys. I don't want to do more work. I just want to watch the show clean through. Whatever. But in any event,
you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that.
I didn't have to pay for it last week. I watched 0 commercials. 0. And that was when it came on at 7.
Terrace
my ass. All right, so let's start with the opening segment of Monday Night Raw, which was Seth Rollins taking a victory lap after doing it all by himself, allegedly, at Crown Jewel. Now, you knew this was a sign of things to come because for the first time, I looked at the Titantron and I noticed we had the official logo for the Vision. Never saw it before tonight. timing of it was incredible. So we have Seth Rollins come out in this really big, bulky jacket. And that was our first tell that that shoulder sums up because he never was nothing that bulky concealing his arm. He comes out with Paul Heyman, the Braun Bronze, and he hypes up his guys. He kisses Paul on the forehead, show him love for what he did for him at WrestleMania. Shouts out Big Bronson Reed for being the new tribal chief after beating Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel in that Australian street fight. Then he cuts to Braun Breaker saying that you are the future of this business. You made me so proud. You are the future. You are the now. And he basically writes his own death certificate and storyline saying that I did this all on my own. I don't need Paul Heyman. I don't need the Braun Bronze. I am me. I am one of one. Roman Reigns needed the Shield. Cody Rhodes needed me to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 last year. I just need me. I'm all about me. And I am here to impart my knowledge, my wisdom onto these two guys to elevate them, to breathe the rarefied air amongst me to know they can possibly one day very soon reach my level of greatness because I did this all on my own without anyone's help, and I don't need anyone to be that guy. And as he's talking, I'm looking at Braun Breaker's demeanor, and I thought he was great. How he was looking like, oh, you don't need us. You did this on your own. Cool. I'm going to bank that in my mind for later. So they all celebrate. Then we cut backstage and Seth feels something in the air, feels something big coming, just doesn't know what it is. Yeah, your own doom, sir. But I like the opening segment. It gave like a window of what was to come later in the show via what we would get to at the end of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, this was good. Good facials, good foreshadowing, and I thought they did a good job of laying the seeds of what was to come. Seth Rollins gets to come out, cut his big promo after a big win, and especially for what happened later in the night, Braun Breaker might be ready for what's to come.
Yeah, they are really trying to push Braun Breaker as they should. And I thought he did a great job with the facial expressions. He looked like he was going to do something at the end of the night, and sure enough, he did. And we'll talk about it in a bit. Our next match we're going to discuss on this show is going to be my guy, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, our double champion, going up against Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. I thought this was a very good match. Scott tries to downplay the bag that Dirty Dom has. Not a drawstring bag. It is a duffel bag that will eventually morph into a full-blown Samsonite bag one day very soon. Doing very cool things in this match. Penta was great, but the fans love them some Dirty Dom. This man is cheating blatantly like Eddie Guerrero, and he's getting cheered for it. Very creative finish, grabbing the hammer that you use to ring the bell. He hits, kneecaps Penta with said hammer, puts hammer in his boot to hit the 619 to really sauce up that finisher, and he gets to double the frog splash. Very clever finish to this match, and they're still building towards Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Rusev next Monday for the championship.
Listen, Dominic's solid. I'm a big fan. And the fanny pack that he carries around with his moveset, that's solid. He's got his 5-6 moves. He's good. But listen, I thought I agree with Fernando. I thought this was gonna be Penta's night. I know he didn't really even have a lot of real good near falls or anything, except maybe out of the Penta driver. But I kind of thought Penta was gonna get it tonight. I'm curious to see who does beat him for this. And as far as the cheers go, the key to when they do turn him babyface is for him to just continue to wrestle exactly the same. To continue to, manipulate the referee, to go behind his back, to try to get, the heel to fall into his traps. Continue doing those things, except you do it to the heel and make the heel look silly. So when he does turn, it's going to explode, and he's going to be a world champion. Like, they've got the young guys who will be world champions and foundation pieces in that. Braun Breaker, Bronson, Dominic Mysterio. Those are all people who should, and more than likely, I'd be willing to bet 75% they will definitely be world champion in the next 5 years.
I believe so as well. I heard several shady comments during your commentary. Said he had a fanny pack. Disrespectful. You will not underrate Dirty Dominic's game. The man is withholding for a reason for the babyface run. He has a whole bag. Okay. Listen, I have been proven to be correct many times on this show. I've had you eat humble pie at least on 3 different occasions for my various clients. Yes, with my various clients who I've represented thoroughly, and you've converted on all of them. So yeah, you will.
I only know of Naomi.
Liv Morgan is another one.
Okay, conversion. I'll give you Liv, Naomi. I'll give you the 2 ladies. Who else?
Yes. Let's see who else I've converted.
Men.
No, please. But Dirty Dom is coming. First dude will be converted. Lyra, you converted on Lyra because I said cheddar biscuits originally. He was like, "What?"
Oh, okay.
You converted.
Yeah, not on the in ring though. Not on the in ring though.
That yes, in the in ring too.
I was never down on her in ring. I never questioned her bag. Might not ever saw the bag, but I never questioned the bag.
No, that was your thing. You never saw the bag and the swag and what she had until later.
No.
And I was like, finally, you saw the light, because I've been saying that for the longest time. Like, hello. He was like, no, I don't see it. One day I see it. I see the light. He saw the light one day. So I am 3 for 3 here. Going to be 4 for 4.
No, you know what? I could think of the guy. I could think of one guy who I started to come around on.
Who?
Big Jim.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So I am 4 for 4 already, about to be 5 for 5. Yes. My conversion
I'm not too sure about Lyra, but you're right on the other 3. I don't know if I was as down on Lyra as you say.
No, your revelation of cheddar biscuits, I do count that because it was delayed. It was delayed, and I was astounded how delayed it was. So like one day you said, Keila, I see it, I understand it. Yes, Lord.
No doubt.
Yes. So yeah, I counted. I am 4 for 4. I will be 5 for 5 with Dirty Dom. I'm like collecting infinity stones when it comes to Scott and him being a hater of certain people. And then all of a sudden he's on the train. Like when I converted Naomi, that was my greatest victory. My greatest victory.
Yeah, the book you making me a fan of the book bag was definitely an act of God. Let's put it that way.
It was.
I was not a fan.
Y'all, he was just on Naomi for years. And I mean years, plural. I defended her through thick and thin, in and out of this company. Book bag.
That's because Bianca was carrying her around for years. When she came back, what'd they do? Put her with Bianca to carry her around the company for a couple years.
And they elevated a whole division.
Bianca
in the process. And Naomi too. You will not do that. But I'm glad he saw the light and was converted. And that is my victory. I'm very happy. I do miss Naomi. We'll see her in 2027. She already said it. Like, listen, gotta give birth to this kid. B for Cardi B. I'll be back in 27. So we're gonna see it now, as we kind of predicted. So, best match of the night goes to Rhea Ripley versus Kairi Sane. Loved this match. Probably the best Kairi has looked since being back in WWE. Rhea is just great, and Kairi was locked into. Love the backstage segment when Asuka pimp slapped Kyrie. Oh man, the face turn for Kyrie when it happens is going to be so good because you're building it up. The anticipation of her breaking free from Asuka, and then their match, whenever it happens, is going to be great as well. So I think they're setting up everybody beautifully for great singles runs when this is all said and done. But Rhea and Kyrie put on a show. Love the wrestling. Everything was so silky smooth. And then Rhea got the W, but then got beat up by the Kabuki Warriors when they went after Io on the outside, and Asuka knocks out Rhea with a DDT on the announce table after Kyrie attacked her with a kendo stick. So the story continues. I'm here for it. Great drama and great match to lead into the aftermath post-match.
Yeah, this is might be the best story they got going in WWE right now. Most layers, no title involved. It's all about friendship, different levels of friendship, what it means to really be a friend, what's family. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they all end up getting back together at the very end of this, after they all beat each other up. I can see them all hugging, and Rhea's on the side and she's all happy. And they all look at Rhea and start whooping her tail. Don't be surprised if that's what happens at the end of this in like 4 or 5 months.
I could see it too. I really could. It's a full circle thing. They're family at the end of the day. Families fight, but it's always going to be family first when it comes down to it. So I can see that too, because we have this still lingering story of Rhea never being able to beat Io Sky when it counts most. That's the tail end of the story. That's the thing that Rhea has to conquer and overcome. Can she do it in this scope of friendship with Io for right now? That's the one thing that she has to be able to get over, the hump of beating Io. She has yet to do it. And that is a great story in WWE. The one mountain that Rhea cannot climb is beating Io Sky.
Yeah. So and so that's all there. And again, strong match from Rhea, who has wrestled more without the title than she did when she had the title. Shocker.
Listen, it's just amazing how that happens. That how, as I said a couple of weeks ago, how people were coming for Rhea Ripley as a wrestler. The slander, the disrespect, saying that she can't wrestle, she can't work. Excuse me? What? Have you seen what she's done when she doesn't have the championship? Not her fault how she was booked. She's exceptional when she's given the chance to wrestle and ball out. It's like the prophecy from years ago. She's 23. She's going to be the face of the division. She's going to be great. And it's all come to pass at its own time, at its own pace. And you see the results of that. She is great. Now, we just hope that whenever she gets the championship back, she won't be hidden as much because she's so great in the ring. Period. That was never a question.
Yeah, she's definitely earned her spot as the top woman in the division right now.
Absolutely. As we now get to our main event of Monday Night Raw, which was a triple threat match for the number one contendership for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was LA Knight versus CM Punk versus main event Jey Uso. The main event was fine for what it was, and the winner was CM Punk. He will now face, and at the time, we thought it was going to be Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, but plans changed, Pyle, because of what happened in the main event segment. So after CM Punk wins, the Vision comes out to confront CM Punk, and Braun Breaker spears he spears Jey Uso, and he spears LA Knight, and then they take out CM Punk, and then the Vision stands tall. And in a classic bait and switch, we have a little graphics. Executive producers Lee Fitting, Paul Levesque. We're going off the air. Copyright trademark WWE. Bye, y'all. See you next week. And then we have Braun Breaker, full steam ahead, proceed to spear Seth Rollins. The shock on Paul Heyman's face, the look of what the hell from Big Bronson Reed, Michael Cole, going off on commentary. And then Braun Breaker tells Braun, are you with me or are you against me? Because we can do this together or we can do this separately. Your choice. So Big Bronson Reed joins in on the beatdown. Tsunami, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman looks on horrified. And then Braun tells Paul, hey, what you want to do? You want to line up with him? You want to line up with us? Paul Heyman, being the hoe that he is, lines up with the youth, raises their hands. Braun Breaker raises the World Heavyweight Championship in his hand, and we get the end of the vision the night it officially launched via logo, all in the same night. Clearly, this was sudden because Seth is legitimately injured, and we're going to have a conversation about that in a moment. But I thought the angle was great. It was surprising. It was soonish, but they've been teasing it for quite some time via backstage segments involving Seth and Paul Heyman. You just saw some telltale signs of it building. I thought it would happen after WrestleMania, but the timing of it right now, considering the injury to Seth's shoulder, it's right.
Yeah, this was a real strong segment. I thought Braun looked incredible. He looked menacing. He looked like he had been waiting to do that, and he looks ready for the moment. I'm looking at them too, and to me, I'm thinking you can accomplish a lot with them. Not only can we elevate them, Braun having the world heavyweight title, I think you could 2-man power trip them. I think you could have Bronson Reed go and destroy Dominic Mysterio, turn that man full babyface, and have him coming back after him, giving him a real mountain to topple. So not only you get Dominic coming back as this big babyface, but you've now got a 2-man power trip, Paul Heyman right behind him. Hell, you could give him the tag titles if you want to. Like, I think you could really go all in with them too. It'd be very believable. And now would be the time to try something. Now would be the time to do something different. When you're going into this fall season, ratings aren't really as important because you're on Netflix type deal and stuff. So I would 2-man power trip them, man. I would load them up and let them just be dominant for the months heading into January and into the WrestleMania season. Like I think you have a very good opportunity to elevate both of them into dominant status.
Agreed. Fernando says Braun Breaker should beat Punk for the world championship. I agree. I think he should win. There's been this conversation lately about the future and how long should you wait to push someone. Don't wait. The time is now. Braun Breaker's ready. Future WrestleMania main eventer should be right now. We just sped up the timeline a bit. He is ready for the moment. He played it up perfectly with his mannerisms and facial expressions. He's ready. He is ready to be at that next level in his early to mid 20s to go out there and be a force in WWE. We look back at the calendar right now, it is 2025. 3 years ago, Braun Breaker made his debut on NXT 2.0. And from that point forward, we saw someone that could be a star. His growth from year 1 to year 2 was amazing. Yes, it stagnated on NXT a bit until, guess what? A veteran in Baron Corbin got him locked in as a tag team and fleshed out his character that basically got him set up for the main roster. Always appreciate your veterans who set you up for success. And Seth Rollins has done the same for him despite this injury, a blessing in disguise in some ways, because as we talked about last week, another discussion point that Scott was converted on, the Vision has no chemistry together. They're like the first version of the Judgment Day. It's a nice collection of talent, but they don't have chemistry together. Edge and Damian and Rhea, it just didn't click. Finn was in the mix too, just didn't click until Finn and Rhea and Damian ousted Edge from the group, and then they elevated themselves when they added Dirty Dominic Mysterio. That's how you got the Judgment Day we know and love today in all iterations. And look at the Vision, same thing. Great collection of talent, but the chemistry was lacking. And we hate for injuries to occur, but the timing of it was great because you're able to elevate the Bronze into a two-man power trip to be belted, to be the top heel team in WWE, opens the door to many possibilities and a face run for Rollins when he comes back. And then in the meantime, you get to build a mini Shield reunion because he has to go to Roman eventually for help. The very man you dismissed, the very man you tried to emulate via this faction, now you need his help in the clutch. And will he accept it? That's all great stories. So many layers out of nowhere that makes sense because you needed this to happen in the manner in which it did, despite the injury. We're going to talk about the injury in a moment, but Fernando, I'm going to shoot to his question. Should they add a third man or stay a duo? They should add a third man. The rumor on the street was the third man would have been maybe Austin Theory, perhaps Brock Lesnar. I don't want Brock near these guys. I don't. Austin Theory, nah. What I will say, and I heard this idea floated on the socials, he's cleared Dragunov.
Nah, I need Dragunov's good on his own. He's the type of baby face you could bring back that can beat them. Like he's got history with Braun. He could be somebody that could be Braun's kryptonite. So I don't know about Dragunov being that guy. As far as a third for them, nah. I think you leave him as a duo and just let them cook. You just let them eat. Like they shouldn't be losing anyway, so they don't need a third man to be taking losses. Me personally, I'd leave him as a duo.
Okay. That's fair enough. I'm with the Bronze being together. The fact that is really a nickname for them. Gotta roll with it. The Bronze. It just kind of clicks. Can't even hate it at this point. But Seth's injury, the complexity of it, we don't know. It could be a torn rotator cuff. Surgery might be required. He's flying back to the States right now, going to Birmingham probably first thing tomorrow morning to get that arm checked for an MRI, see how bad the damage is. But we live in a world where we got faked out by an injury of WWE's own making for WWE Unreal to do a storyline for SummerSlam. And it's sad that we live in a world now within the WWE framework that we have to question the legitimacy of Seth's injury. Yes, I do believe he's injured. To what extent, I don't know. It's pretty serious to go through a hot storyline that was meant post WrestleMania to happen right now in October. But it's a classic case of the boy who cried wolf one too many times, to the point you have to question what's true and what's not in WWE, because we all know ultimately everything is being filmed for WWE Unreal. This will be a part of it for the tail end of season 1. They'll add this episode. They'll dress up their reasonings for why things were sped up. They'll make things up along the way, and they'll throw in the injury angle as a real deal thing too. But it's where we are right now because they painted this picture by way of Paul Levesque that it's all a part of the story. And now we have to just side-eye injuries and believe it when we see it in terms of, let me see the surgery photos, let me see the MRI results, because you painted this narrative of what can possibly be real in WWE because you made it so.
I don't mind it. I think there needs to be a little bit more mystery in wrestling as far as what's work, what's not. For me, it was a lot more enjoyable when I didn't know kind of what was going on and, what was sometimes when people were legit or when they weren't, when things got a little testy in the ring. It was, I like when I don't know. So I I'm probably in the minority, but I'm okay with this just because like I like the fact that now we kind of question it. It's like, is he hurt? Is he not? How serious is it? Does he just need time off? And this is, they're just giving him a reason. I'm okay with it. Bring a little bit of mystery back to the kayfabe side of things.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on it. Don't bullshit the audience. That's just me, because you're trying to get one over on everybody. And then when something real like this happens, people second guess it because the first injury was fake. And now this one, you wonder, how severe is it? He's wearing a cast where he wore a boot when he was walking his daughter down the street to school. Like, these things are pictures they painted. And it just annoys me a little bit that they are doing two things at one time. Yes, sometimes real life stuff happens. And yes, we film it for a Netflix series. And then we embellish, and then we add, and then we just do what we must to juice up the drama, which I get. But at some point, it's time to stop playing yourself and the people that cover this business and just be upfront. Be a little bit transparent. Just don't do it for, hey, we're filming a documentary. And hey, you'll find out when you watch our show in 6 months on a delay what really happened. That's my biggest issue with it. Get what you're saying. You're not wrong, but it's just how WWE's approached it that somewhat annoyed me in recent months. What I will also say to this is the fact that we have to ask ourselves this question. When Seth comes back, what do you want to happen, Scott? Because this has Survivor Series implications. Everything we thought we knew heading into that match is possibly blown up. So what do you do in the meantime prior to Seth's return?
As far as prior to Seth's return and in the meantime, me personally, I'm two-man power tripping it. Like I'm elevating the Bronze. I'm putting at the least the world and the IC title on them two, heading into Survivor Series War Games. Paul Heyman can call him his Dangerous Alliance or whatever he wants. If you like, I'm opposed to a third team, but I'm not opposed to them maybe adding like a tag team. And you mentioned the Creed brothers. If Chad Gable ain't got nothing going on for him, that would be a nice duo to add to them. And then now you're talking about having what you need to go into a War Games match. Now, obviously, you're throwing things together, but at this point, you kind of do need to throw things together. If you want name value, there's different people you can pick out there. You can go with the Judgment Day. That's always an easy fix. You don't like the Brock connection, but I think with Seth being out, we could end up seeing the Brock connection just because of name value purposes. But that's what I would do. I'm two-man power tripping. I'm elevating them. I might add a tag team to them. And then when Seth comes back, I think you have him go after Braun Breaker, world champion or not. And then after he finishes with that, we need to eventually get to, and it'll probably be right around Saudi, we need to get our Roman versus Seth Mania match.
Not if Dwayne has anything to do with it. Dwayne's gonna be like, you know what? It's my time. They're paying me $100 million. It's my time. Sorry, Seth. You have to wait until SummerSlam to get yours.
That's fine. It's okay.
Well, it's gonna be a big, big deal heading into WrestleMania. My question is gonna be like one night or two over there.
2.
Great. Fantastic. Watching WrestleMania at like noon. Fab. Looking forward to it. Then Fernando gives me a horrifying thought. There's a chance, there's some chatter going on, that it could be the MFTs versus the Wyatt Six at War Games.
That's the type of match that you make a traditional Survivor Series match.
Yes, sir. You do not put that in a War Games match, because if you do, you know what? I might be getting a VPN, Stephanie. Might be getting one.
But it might give us Tongaloa standing on top of a cage. So listen, the legendary Tongaloa standing on top of a cage is the type of thing we need at War Games. So maybe I'm not opposed to it.
The legendary Tongaloa climbing anything is a risk to his limbs and his legs, and you're asking for it for him to climb anything. Now, a ladder's one thing, a cage in a baseball stadium is another. And no, I'm good. If I see Tamatanga, that's all I need. Cheddar biscuits all day for him, obviously. So that was Monday Night Raw. A shocking conclusion, of course, with Seth getting knocked out, laid out by his own vision. The vision is no more. Had one night of official launch, and then it was closing time, out of business. And now it's the Bronze on their own alongside Paul Heyman wrecking shop on Monday nights. I do love the visual of that. As we briefly now dive into NXT, Scott gave us insight into what he hated about this show, which was the Battle Royal main event. I'll let him have the floor on that to just go off the only way he can.
I mean, first of all, the whole thing about get started with the TNA women, just letting them come in and have a shot at your title just because you beat them. That's Ava's really trying to make it a race with Adam Pearce for worst GM in the world. Secondly, Zarya. Sol Ruka got beat up. Okay. Blake was gone. Blake got already went to the back. You scared her off. And you go to, why didn't you just step in the ring and like, yo, you good? You know, crawl up in the, why didn't you go under the ring? Why didn't you go under the ropes and go check on her? Why didn't you just do a handstand over there like Kalani and walked over there like that? I mean, just illogical stuff going. And then you got Ren Sinclair out there trying to spin around the pole. She pole dancing out there, falling on the ground. So this was awful. I thought things couldn't get any worse than the three-way tag match which we got between Chase U's little brother, but then this made that seem like it was a great three-way. This was awful. And then the finish you got that happening, and Tatum Paxley just happens to luck up and win. So that means either at Halloween Havoc we're gonna get the culling destroying her and making her not win, or she's going to win, and then we're going to get the Triple H moment of her being on somebody's shoulders and getting the thumbs up, and then they thumbs down her and destroy her. Not a fan of it. The inspiration, don't even know what they were doing out there. You told me one of them chicks could go. I think it was Cassie. I don't know what she was doing out there tonight. This was really bad. Kalani, this was all terrible. Terrible tonight. And I'm usually a NXT guy. I will defend NXT, but this was not good. And you had a ready-made story with Zarya with the beatdown from earlier, taking Soul's spot, and then she just gives up herself. Terrible.
Listen, Scott, Zarya sacrificed herself for the love of the game, for the love of soul. You have to appreciate that. That is something that is selfless and dumb as fuck. But you know what? I appreciate it nonetheless. Now, I will be honest. NXT has not been a good program for quite some time. And tonight was an encapsulation of that. The main event was not very good. However, I'm very happy for Tatum Paxley. I'm a big Tatum fan, and I want her to excel. She survived cuts of people that were in her circle, so they clearly see something in her. And she's improved dramatically. She's homegrown talent. She has something. So for that, I'm grateful that she won the match. The match itself, hot mess, constructed very badly. The knockouts being in this match in this degree, just no. after you lost in the matter in which you lost last week, no, 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 no. The inspiration, yes, I think Cassie's a better worker of the two. She was off. She was really bad tonight. Kalani, who I enjoy, listen, how you gonna do a hand? You're gonna do a handstand to save yourself from elimination. The smartest person in this match was Jordan Grace, who says, "No, you're not doing this." Kicked her right off. That was a highlight for me because I don't blame you. Well, I'm gonna allow you to Cirque du Soleil your ass back in the match. No, get down. Not on my watch. Bye. And then you put me on the team either. Double bye. So yeah, I liked that. And if I get Jordan and Kalani, great, fantastic. But yeah, I wasn't feeling this match. The show itself, I wasn't feeling very much either. Uh, it was just a show. It was a tape show at that, which just made things a little bit drier than usual for me. But yeah, this main event was a hot mess, but I'm very happy that Tatum won because I do see value and I do see talent in her to stand out in a good way. The spooky gimmick, I can take or leave sometimes, but the worker that Tatum Paxley is, I am impressed by. So I can take that, and then the rest of the match, I can basically throw in the trash heap.
Yeah, show wasn't very strong, but that's what happens when you get a tape show. So that's all right. I'm sure they'll bounce back next week.
Yeah, and then in the most distressing part of the match, I get my Lash and Mara reunion. Could have been freaking tag team champions. And they did not give us that. I'm still salty. I have your salt, Scott, about that still to this day. I'm still irritated.
Yeah, they would have been good contenders, but not to be. That moment was nice though. It was
It was
nice.
nice.
It was nice of Lash to pull her in. That was cool.
It was nice. I enjoyed the hug. So that was another thing that I liked, the hug, the moment, and everything. But it just reminds me of like the missed opportunities we had here. And the fact that we still have Jakara in that way on NXT and basically a lateral move by being in TNA, it made the release even that more dumb. Because eventually, by all accounts, you're most likely going to re-sign her.
Yeah.
So what was the point in cutting her?
Yep, that's true.
Oh God, I just sometimes I have no words and I am without speech, and that irritates me. But on the plus side, Matt Cardona finally got back in WWE via NXT. Good for him.
It was a good match. He got a good reaction, and he was full on Matt Cardona, and Josh Briggs got a good win.
Yeah, Josh Briggs. Listen, I'm not a big fan of the character, but the worker is very good. Cannot knock it. And your thoughts on Zarya versus Blake Monroe?
I thought the match was good. I thought instead of her trying to gouge and slit her throat, I think she should have just went for an eye gouge. Like, what happened to just raking the eyes with your nails? Like, you're always trying to get fancy and stuff. So, but let me say this about Zarya. She got one of the best entrances
Yeah.
in WWE. Like, that entrance is fire. Now, when she's in the ring, that's a whole nother subject. I see why they don't let her in the ring that much. But the entrance, fire. I mean, the timing, everything, it looks great. Which main roster entrance, I bet you it's gonna be electric. But her entrance is great. But yeah, strong match, nice win for Blake, and she continues her ascent. I could see her becoming North American champion here soon.
Yes, I can see that as well. And that forwards the Zarya Saruka tension as well. Also want to make an announcement on the show, effective immediately. Saruka gets an entire franchise of Red Lobsters. Yeah.
All right. I'm always here for the biracial sisters to get whatever they need. So yeah, I'm with it.
I mean, I'm just wow. Wow. Every time I see him, like, wow, an entire franchise and recipe. She gets the recipe effective today as well. The entire recipe of the cheddar biscuits, the most delicious biscuits you will ever eat. Best appetizer ever. Fernando has a few more takes. Lash Legend should be going to the main roster. Very possible based on the teased match for Survivor Series War Games. We'll get to that when we get to that. And then Fernando has a lot of confidence in Josh Briggs, aka JBL 2.0. I would say he's JBL 1.5 minus the charisma.
Yeah. That's fine. He's probably closer to a Tess than a JBL.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm just
Test?
saying. Yeah, he's J. I like J. I think JBL in the ring is exactly what he's supposed to be. He's just a bully, a bruising bully. Like I think he was exactly what he was supposed to be. Tess was more of an athletic type. Yeah, to me, Josh Briggs is a lot more like Tess than he is, or like a Matt Morgan than he is a JBL.
Okay, so if Test and JBL had a baby, it'll be Josh Briggs.
Oh God.
Charisma-less with no charisma, but the talent, the athleticism to carry it off.
Yeah, I would probably say more of a Matt Morgan, because Matt Morgan was just like a void of charisma, but was pretty athletic for a guy his size.
That's even worse, Scott. We're trying to give the man something.
No, I agree. You're right. Josh is solid. I think Josh is solid, but I probably like JBL's as a wrestler more than most, just because everybody don't need to be, fast moving and stuff. Like you need the bruiser, the bully. Like that's what every babyface needs, is a nice bully to go beat up. And I thought he was great as a bully. And I love a clothesline from hell.
Oh yeah, I mean he hit it perfectly. I mean he was a great character, great bully, tremendous asshole. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was the bootleg J.R. Ewing from Dallas. He was great in his role. Fantastic. Wrestler, but great character to overcome. Him and Eddie had some great matches. I will concede to that. He got John over at WrestleMania. And as Fernando says, he's still young. Briggs can work on the charisma. That is true, because we've seen miracles happen in this business, okay? That you had nothing, just a dim light of charisma. You ain't got nothing. And then all of a sudden, you wake up one day and you got it. We've seen it happen before, and it's possible. You just got to lock in and find yourself in this process. So I will say that there is hope for Briggs to find some level of charisma, dig down deep. He'll get there. I think about so many people that I thought was lost in that regard, and they found themselves.
Yeah, he's got time, and he's getting a nice push right now. So he's going to get the opportunity.
Absolutely. And we would be remiss if we don't mention the names of the NXT talent that was cut this past week, most notably Wesley. He's going to make a lateral move to TNA. That's what's going to happen. And then he'll lateral move right back to WWE in 2 years.
Yeah, Baby Drewski going and getting back with the Rascals works out pretty well. So I think it's a good move for him.
Yeah, and just kind of refined what made him special. Someone pulled up the clip from a few years ago of him and my guy, Dijak, at that Vengeance Day PLE. Magic, pre-back injury. So I just hope he finds the love, the joy of what this is for him, and make them regret the cut. CV Turner was also cut. She wasn't doing nothing. She was basically the de facto GM assistant to Ava on NXT TV. Rich Holland, that cut was cruel because he just broke his foot somewhere else, and now you want to cut him after the injury. That was wild.
Yeah, for a company that adds on injury time, it is pretty tough to cut somebody while they're injured. So It's the TKO business, though. That's where we're at now.
Yeah, it's cutthroat, it's heartless, and it's gnarly. And now we're kind of seeing the reverberations of that via that cut of Rich Holland. That was the only notable releases from NXT. Some IE, some ID contracts were not renewed for some talent as well. So they're trying to thin the herd a bit, because if you're not progressive within a year or two, they think it's time to cut bait. If they don't think you're going to be on the main roster, they're going to keep moving on to what they have with people on Evolve, who's already in the system, and migrating through NXT and developmental. So those are the cuts from this past week. And before we go, it's now time to talk about the match of the week. Scott sometimes takes this seriously, and other times he does not. Let's find out which direction he's going to take us in today.
You know, for this week, I could go with Tony Khan versus the rematch, because Wrestle Dream ain't nothing but a dream rematch. But I'm gonna go with real one. John Cena versus AJ Styles. For me, this is about as 2K as it gets, and I loved every second of it. So John Cena versus AJ Styles.
I agree. A love letter to professional wrestling was that match. It was a 2K spam fest, but I loved every moment of it. AJ and John Cena are great at what they do, told a great story. And the most important thing that should be noted, despite them spamming finishers, is that they paid homage to their match at the Royal Rumble back in 2017. They never left the ring. It was all in the squared circle. It's talent.
Yeah. Two true pros, man. They went out there and did that. Let me find out John Cena trying to put his name in the hat for Wrestler of the Year, even though he's only got 4 matches.
Listen, he said, "Hey, comeback player of the year after WrestleMania that Ed got laid against Cody, and this babyface turn, I let y'all know I still got it." And he has shown it at 3 PLEs, SummerSlam, Clash in Paris, this show, we don't count redacted because I don't know what that was, but he's really balled out in all of these matches against Logan Paul, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, next up Dirty Dom, presumably. Then the last match in DC, who will have the honors of wrestling John Cena for the final time in WWE. Word is it could be Gunther. Plans change, pal, in WWE. We shall see. But this retirement tour is a reminder of what could have been if things were a little bit different.
Yeah. But we are where we are, and I think we're going to get something good for these last 2. I think they know they have to make good on these last ones.
Absolutely. So we shall see what they do heading into the last few matches John Cena has in WWE. And with that, that is a wrap for all things WWE. And I want to thank my co-captain, my ride or die, salty baby face Scott Young, for joining me as always to recap the week so far in WWE.
Thank you for having me. And as always, it's a pleasure to chop it up and talk all things WWE. Hope everyone has a good week, and look forward to next week.
Yes. And one more Fernando shout as well. Gunther or Braun Breaker if he doesn't win the World Championship. Good options for Cena to get somebody over on the way out the door. And we shall see where WWE goes heading into his last few appearances in WWE 4 and counting, which is crazy. Crazy indeed. But we'll be back next Tuesday night around this time, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern, to talk about what's ahead for WWE and our NXT Halloween Havoc preview. The fact they don't have a card with a week to spare is crazy. They taped a show, Scott. Let's marinate on this. They taped a show tonight that wasn't live, and you have to shoehorn a go-home show next week.
Yeah, well, it tells you it's not important and nothing big is going to happen. But hopefully at least they make some good matches.
Hey, spin the wheel, make the deal if all else fails.
There you go.
So let's see where we go. I just thought about that. Like, wow, y'all taped the show, and then we're just going to throw together a whole bunch of stuff on the go home. Just basically throw together a card, throw it all together. Big old sloppy go home show next week. We'll discuss it. Don't you worry about it right here on the wrap. So until next week, that's this week. So for myself, for Scott, thank you, Fernando, in the chat. Thank you, random WWE fan person that was capping for Seth in the beginning of this episode. Appreciate you too. As always, we'll be back here to talk about the week that was in WWE next week right here on the Fike Media Network YouTube channel. For myself and for Salty Scott Young, that is a wrap for all things WWE. Take care and bye-bye.